Hey y'all, welcome in. Welcome in. If you're new or just passing through my channel, welcome. My name is Tam. I'm also known as the Enlightened Auntie. And if you're returning, welcome back, squad. I'm here today to do another general collective reading. We're not sign specific here. We're also gender fluid. I may say you and I'm talking to them. I may say them, I'm talking to you. Put yourself in the story wherever you seem to fit. Remember that time and energy are fluid, so I could be talking about the past, present, or the future. Take what's yours. Leave the rest behind. If you would like to book a personal more aligned with your own story, all of my information is below in the description box, and I invite you to join me for a session. Welcome in, y'all. Welcome back. As you see, I figured out a way to hang this thing. Thank you again, Leah Gladson. You are amazing, and I absolutely love this new painting hanging in my office. It gives such good energy. And since it's facing outward, it's facing the camera, it's warding off evil eye energy going out towards me and child right back to you. So, don't come here with none of that. All right. Anywho, I hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a good weekend. I had a very full weekend, child. I had a very full weekend. I'm just barely trying to get my bearings because Monday came rolling around real quick. And here we are. So, let's dive in and see what Spirit wants to talk about. Well, damn. I'm like, yee. There's an energy out here that the first card out was toxic. So it looks kind of like somebody who's been in like some really gnarly energy and not actually reaping rewards because of it. I have a loss of abundance. Jesus Christmas. I have a loss of abundance here. So now abundance, you know, when I talk about abundance, I don't mean just monetary, because this does not necessarily feel like it's monetary. Abundance, like all the things, the relationships, the connections as well, because you know other people having good people in your life that also can make you feel abundant outside of, like, you know, the monetary factors. And it kind of feels like the energy of somebody who, because they're so closely tied to or connected to this toxic energy, maybe they have lost all the warm fuzzy things in their life. And in the recent past, I feel like this person I don't know if I'm talking to someone who maybe grew up in poverty, because there's an energy. There's an energy that's connected to abundance, but it's tied to like emotions. And when I'm talking now, and when I say abundance in this term, I mean, I'm speaking more a little, this feels more like a poverty consciousness thing. Now, mind you, I'm using my picture deck, so I'm channeling energy off of this. But it feels like somebody who may have had an emotional connection to the lack of, or so say if somebody had, you know, we'll say if they grew up in poverty, a lot of the motivation behind some of the things that they were doing was tied into that poverty consciousness. Okay. But if they operated in a very toxic way, then what they're actually seeing is that toxicity could literally be repelling or pushing away all of the things that they may have once had in their life that made them feel abundant outside of the monetary factor. The crazy part about it is, going into the future, this person, it definitely feels like somebody who, I haven't even gotten to the environmental cards, but this feels like an energy of somebody who, because they're perpetuating a cycle. Cycle's in the upright, but wisdom is in the reverse. So this kind of tells me like they're not interested in actually learning a new way to go about life. They're not interested in learning anything new, so it perpetuates the cycle of a particular behavior. Child. Take these two. They don't want to heal. So we got somebody out here who's ungrounded. Okay, I don't necessarily know your connection to this person. I don't know your connection to this person, but it's really interesting because I have these two cards came out side by side. So this would be you, collective. This would be them. With her kind of being in the reverse, this tells me you may, with vision in the upright, you may have, I may be talking, and like I always say this all the time, like we all have a gift of intuition, every single one of us. Now, how much of that intuition works for you, really based on how much you flex that muscle. It's like any other muscle, you have to work at it in order to like really develop it. So I have the impression here that you're dealing with somebody who, one, they refuse to heal. They are not healing at all. This is in the environment and people can see it. So this feels like somebody who, I heard they press the easy button. They press the easy button, or they're trying to press the easy button. They may look at your life as being very, like, I'm channeling so much information right now. I'm trying to sort it in my brain. I got this Gemini stellium. I got like 100 tabs in my head right now with like all this different information. So you have somebody, the person that you're dealing with, this feels like someone who is, I can see it right here. They're not trying to heal. They ain't trying to learn nothing new. You may intuitively you have knowledge about things that other folks don't actually understand, and they don't know how you know some of the things that you know, but intuition, we use that muscle, right? We're working that muscle. But the person that you're dealing with does not have that knowledge. They may even try to pass themselves off as somebody who is, a little bit elevated or whatever. They're not doing a really good job of it because people can kind of see that this person is coming undone. They're very unsettled, not very grounded. Yeah, whoever this person is, they don't want to self-reflect. They don't want to self-reflect. What did I said in one of the other readings, I think in the last reading, I talked about, I was getting a lot of earth and water. I literally have the earth and water cards out here. So we could be talking about the same dynamic. But this person doesn't really want to they have no desire to self-reflect. Have no desire to self-reflect. But they're also unable to I want to say shapeshift, but I don't actually have that card out here, but that's what this feels like, because this person may pass themselves off as knowing it all, and they can't really do that anymore. They can't do that anymore. There's someone here. Yeah, failure, bad luck. Damn. And somebody ungrounded because they just want to get away. I feel like this person, they want to kind of get away from their own life. They want to get away from the lens. Like, if people are starting to look at them differently, they are trying to get away from the way people are viewing them. Okay. Oh, snap. Okay. I don't know the correlation, and I'm kind of thinking back on other readings that I've done where we talk about, number one, I've always believed that the collective, you have been the gift in these people's lives. Whoever this is for you, whoever the people are. You've been the gift. Why? Because you have certain knowledge, and the crazy part is, like, you have this, and I'm getting chills. You have this knowledge that if people if they would just listen to you, if they would hear you, if they listen to you, they would get the benefits of the knowledge that you're trying to give them. But you're dealing with someone who doesn't want to heal. They don't want to learn anything. They don't want to grow. They don't want to evolve. And that evolution is exactly what would simplify their life and their existence, but they don't want to look at themselves. But they can no longer hide the fact that they don't know the shit that they say or claim that they do know. Okay? Now, part of their fears and concerns is that it's something tied to you being asleep. So, and I've been saying it, like, once you wake up and you see certain things, you can't unsee it. So part of, they're kind of worried that they're losing the fact that you're now awakened, or you have awakened, they're losing something. You, possibly, could be more, but they're losing you for sure. Listen, the person, the blockage for this person is, I said here, this person is, they're perpetuating a cycle because they refuse to learn. They're resisting the growth. So I feel like part of the dynamic here that we're talking about is that if you parted ways, because I do see distance here, if you parted ways from someone's, I mean, I know for a fact I've parted ways with lots of people, but if you've parted ways with someone upon your awakening, your distance or you walking away was supposed to prompt people to, I heard the word emerge, but it was meant for folks to like grow and reflect. It's kind of a weird energy that I'm feeling, because it feels like your departure was meant to make people like pause and reflect on why you may have walked away, or what caused you to do that. What caused the collective to decide, I'm not doing this anymore and I'm gonna walk away. This person has, part of their blockage has been they're very resistant to like growth. It's kind of weird. They're resistant to the growth energy that is being there, and it technically is there to support them, but this person has been resisting it the entire time. Ooh, and if they're, yeah, okay, so here's the thing. Part of what they need to release, I think this person, whoever this is, they have been strangely very angered by your departure, and also strangely angered by the fact that you have grown. So I don't know if it's they're angry at the fact that it can be, it's weird because this is a weird energy, because they're angry. They are angry that you chose to distance yourself, but even more angry that your growth may be seen. Maybe your growth is being seen by other, I mean, haven't gotten there yet, but maybe your growth is being seen, and the growth being seen is actually a big pushback, especially if they've been spreading, like if somebody here has been kind of spreading a false narrative about who you are. Yeah, I can see why your growth would be pissing some folks off, because it goes against everything that somebody has said about you. So if they're, if somebody's out talking shit about, the collective this and collective that, well, the collective is healing and minding, we're minding our business. And so if people can actually see whatever it is that you're doing, however far you've come since you distanced yourself from this person or people, then it's got people looking at you and it's got people looking at them, and they're like, these things are not alike. And literally, in order for them to restore, or at least kind of recalibrate, because I can definitely see somebody here is very unbalanced. Very, very unbalanced. But it's almost like this person would just rather be angry. They would rather be angry than fix themselves or fix the situation. But I say they don't want to look at themselves. Part of the lesson, I said it before the cards even came out. The lesson was for them to really take stock in the fact that Why? Oh, God. Your absence or distance from this person was meant to be a catalyst for this person to reflect on themselves, to reflect over the relationship, the course of your relationship, to reflect how they showed up or their behavior, the way, like, this person just refuses. Like, I think part of the biggest, especially if you're not talking to this person, if you're not, because it's crazy, this whole row right here, if you stop talking to this person, you probably restore balance back into your own life just by distancing yourself. And in that distance, it prompted your growth. We love it. It's crazy because this whole row right here is like somebody who refuses to even reflect or acknowledge. They just want to be mad. They just want to be mad. And I feel like I said, God makes the call to everybody. This person is resisting that call and wants to stay asleep. They want to stay asleep. It's crazy. Yeah, so part of the advice, it almost kind of looks like, because this person isn't like self-reflecting, or like I said, they would rather just be mad instead of like kind of look at their own life, or instead of using their grown-up words and communicating. They would just rather be mad. They don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work on themselves. They don't want to. What are they afraid of? One more. You know what's crazy? Part of the advice here, I think, and it's not even really so much advice, I just kind of feel like this is energy, like just information at this point. I think this person may have thought that your connection to them or your relationship with them would always be there, like it would always be protected, right? It almost feels a little overconfident, right? It almost feels like this person chose, this is a choice. They chose not to put in the effort because they believed that the relationship would always be in existence in the way that it's always been. Crazy. Crazy. And now the relationship has pretty much come to an end. And anything that they may have tried to do against you, it's not working and it's not doing anything to you because you are protected. Okay, so I'm getting another download. It's like, remember how I've talked about it like a couple months ago, where, you know, the collective, we have like this like protective bubble umbrella that's over us, and anybody that's underneath our umbrella also gets that same level of protection. So they just assumed, this isn't a huge assumption, this person just assumed that you'd like always be there, and so that they never really had to do anything more or extra in order to keep you as a part of their life. And so they did nothing. They did absolutely nothing, and because of that, that was the literal downfall of the relationship. So there's that. Alright, let's clarify. So it looks like in the current energy, okay, remember when I started off, I was like, there's somebody who's carrying like this toxicity, and because they choose to carry, and this is a choice, remember, we're talking about choices. They made a choice to continue carrying this toxicity, and as a result, they lose the abundance of having you, okay? Now, this person may have some closure issues. They may have some closure issues. And I feel like for you, I want to say, because I'm like, I pulled two cards. On one hand, it feels like closure issue. I honestly don't think, because I see it out here, like this person really doesn't have any intentions to make any changes. So I kind of feel like this energy of telling the truth, there's going to be a closure issue unless this person actually communicates to you or tells you the truth or tells you how they feel or whatever. Oh, wow. Okay, so remember when I said whoever this person is, they may have grown up in poverty. They may have grown up in poverty. And so I can definitely kind of see somebody here who has, like, whatever, it just feels like an existence or a life of just hustling, working hard, like trying to, if you, healing that poverty consciousness, especially if you've got money wounds like within your lineage or something like that, like if you heal it for yourself, you heal it for your lineage. And a lot of us, just depending on, you know, like the I don't know, I just feel like generationally, like this last last few generations we've all been struggling through that. We've been struggling through that. So this is somebody here, it looks like they feel like they've just been working their ass off, you know, trying to, it's funny because the way that I'm hearing it, it's like, remember when I said in the very beginning, I'm like abundance in all forms. This almost feels like somebody here who could have, like, yeah, they worked their ass off to acquire whatever they have, but even whatever they have, they didn't actually appreciate it. They were just trying to, I feel like this is somebody who just tries to amass more. They just want more. For what? I said, going in the future, they perpetuate the cycle because this person just refuses to learn anything. And this person may have run out of time. I feel like the longer they keep going in this cycle, they're gonna see that things aren't lining up for them. Like they could even, this also gives me a sense of somebody who's like really impatient. But if they're impatient and they're operating from a space of thinking that they know everything and then they don't really know shit, yeah, nothing's gonna come together. Okay. Oh, so whoever this person is, okay, here's the thing. This person hasn't done anything in order to change or evolve. They've literally done nothing. And so if you have, you know, like I said, once you wake up and you start to awaken, you can't unsee the things that you see, the things that you figure out, things that you learn along the way. You can't like unlearn them. They're like, it becomes part of your reality, right? So what we have here is somebody who is really upset, especially if they believe that you're living a more simpler life. If they feel like, I've actually been talking about this with my friends, like talking about like the soft girl era, and this is not masculine, feminine, either way, whatever. But this is somebody who, I feel like they're angry with you if they believe that your life doesn't look like the same struggle that they had. You know how when, it's funny, I was just having this conversation. You know how when, and I've seen it where you have people who had like a really tough childhood or whatever, and they go off and have children, and then, you know, when their kids start going through struggles or whatever, they don't really step in to help or assist because they feel like, well, I did it and I made it out just fine. Well, no, you didn't make it out just fine. Your ass was traumatized. You know what I'm saying? So this feels like somebody who, I said they mad over here and they resisting this growth, but they don't even want to reflect on their own lives. I feel like this person is really upset. They don't think that it's fair because you listen to your intuition. They never imagined you healing and walking away from your family, child. And the moment you walked away from your family, everything just kind of went, you know. But over here, there's someone here who is out. They're genuinely upset. They're genuinely butthurt because they feel like it's not fair that you collective, especially if you're highly intuitive, they don't feel like it's fair that you have these gifts, that it's a gift that they think it's unfair. They think it's unfair that your life is so much simpler and easier than their life. This is a hater. Child, this is a hater. I don't know who this is for you. This person is a hater. And the crazy part about it is, even when I'm looking at all these cards, if this person did the work to evolve or whatever, they could actually create some changes in their own life to simplify their lives. Yikes. I said it. They don't want to do the work. Chop wood is in the reverse. Clean it up in reverse. Child, they don't want to do the work. They don't want to do the work, and they don't want to fix whatever it is that has, created a wedge or distance between you. There is no energy that's out here that is supporting reconciliation of any kind. And it's crazy because I said they don't self-reflect, but they also don't reflect over. Remember what I just said? Like if somebody grew up kind of rough or whatever, and they had it tough, they kind of feel like, well, I made it through, so you should be able to do the same thing. You should be able to overcome whatever I had to overcome. Something like that. And I feel like they were just expecting you. This is a family situation. I don't know who in your family we could be talking about. But this is somebody here who just it's like expecting some type of like blind obedience. They just want you to just do whatever they tell you to do. They just want you to do it without questioning, whatever. Child, I probably pissed my mother off a lot because I used to question everything. But I have a Gemini stellium, so I think a lot. I mean, like I said, I have like 100 tabs in my head at all times, and I have a gajillion thoughts running simultaneously about all kinds of things. And so I probably ask a lot of questions, and a lot of times when people are ill-equipped to answer those questions, they would much rather gaslight and shut you down and make you feel stupid, right? But this is kind of like somebody who wanted you to they wanted to be able to lead, and they wanted you to just follow blindly. They wanted you to follow blindly without even actually examining why they wanted you to do these certain things anyway. Does that make sense? And as a result, yeah, they're not happy because now they're not feeling abundant. Go figure. They're not feeling abundant because they refuse to do the work to heal. It all goes back to that. It all goes back to their refusal to do the work to heal like these certain core components in themselves. Healing in the reverse with failure in the upright. And then the other thing is, if this is you, I kind of feel like this would be more you. You probably, if you distance yourself from your family, you probably gave them a lot of grace before you actually withdrew completely. You gave them an opportunity or enough time to kind of like make some changes for themselves. And when you realize that those changes weren't actually happening, you chose to distance yourself. I actually agree with that. I would have done it too, and have. Oh, look. They're worried. They're worried about you going or embarking on this new life and whether or not you would still be available for energy exchange. If you would still be available, actually the way I heard it was if you were still available to do nice things for them. I'm sorry, what? Oh, but the blockage. Listen. Remember when I said part of the blockage was the fact that this person has been resisting like growth in the separation, in the time of separation. The person in question, whoever we're talking about, has been resisting growth, right? Also part of the blockage in the relationship dynamic that is definitely connected to past. Part of the blockage is their failure to recognize that they are largely responsible for the condition of the relationship based on the way they showed up for you or did not show up for you in the past. Like, this situation is of their making. Okay, and I said part of what they need to release was the anger, because if they release the anger, because this person is I want to say they're more angry at the fact that you're like really balanced, like you've like, as I said, you've done the healing work, you've done the work on yourself, so you're not in that. You might have been in a chaotic ass energy when you were around them, and the thing about it is, this person, what part of what they need to release is they're not ready. I'm just gonna put that out there. They're not quite ready to do that. Especially since I said over here, they're kind of perpetuating a cycle without wanting to learn why or assess why based on, they just need to self-reflect, honestly. But they don't want to let go of the narrative. They're not quite ready. So this person may spend a lot of time thinking about it. Hell, they may even spend a lot of time talking about it with other people and regurgitating the same story over and over again in order, I feel like, to gain some sense of sympathy from the listener, whoever they're talking to. And really all it requires is, in two places here, all it really requires is for them to like kind of really sit and look at themselves, because they're so busy, they're so angry at the fact that you removed yourself. They would rather point fingers and place blame than look at themselves and say, what did I do to create this dynamic? What part did I play in making the collective say, I don't want to do this anymore and I'm out? So instead of, because honestly, I feel like if somebody had a really healthy perspective, then they would question, why, instead of being like, anger wouldn't be the first go-to emotion, What you mad about? That is also part of the lesson. I said it. Yeah. Part of the lesson, it has a lot to do with kind of looking, like removing the emotional component. Stop being mad about it. Removing the emotional component. I think a lot of it, this level of honesty for somebody, I feel like it's complex for this person. I don't know why. But it's almost like they don't want to face the reality. If they were to remove the emotion, whatever that emotion is, whether it's happiness, sadness, anger, whatever, if they were able to remove the emotion and just kind of take a step back and really look at everything objectively, that's what they were supposed to do. That's what they were supposed to do. They were supposed to really step back and take a look at it and like really assess how we got here. How did we get from point A to point D and everything that's in between? Like, how did we get here? And like, now we're here and you're gone. Like, how do we get here? This person is just I And I also kind of feel like it just, the thought of trying to assess it gives this person anxiety. I just feel like this person just needs to sit down and have an honest, take an honest assessment of their life, their whole life. Because I don't believe that you are the only person, because I said it's in the environment that other people can kind of see that this person is unhinged. So I kind of feel like if this person took a couple of steps back and really assessed not just your relationship with them, but like all the other relationships that have kind of fallen by the wayside, where they're scratching their head and they can't figure out why. If maybe the common denominator is you. I'm just saying. They just, okay, that's crazy. The way so the way this person sees, remember when I said at first, I was like, they thought that they wouldn't have to really do anything, like, to stay under your umbrella. And what they're seeing now is, and it's also here too, they also felt, I said, they labors in reverse and so is building blocks. It's the same basic energy. From your perspective, you see somebody who hasn't put any actual effort into the relationship to build a foundation, right? By you walking away from this, I feel like you've kind of found, in that healing energy, you're happy where you are. You're, wherever you are in your life, you're internally happy. The outside, and here's the thing, your internal will be mirrored back to you externally in the 3D. So like if your life, if on the inside you're feeling all crazy chaotic, that shit will be mirrored back to you in your 3D life. If you are very calm and you're very grounded, then your life is kind of calm and grounded too, And I feel like because you've decided, you've put the work in on yourself and you've continued to persevere through it, you are happy. You're in a solid ass space. But this person or other people can actually see, because observers are in the reverse, which talks about being able to, like when it's in the upright, it talks about seeing it in broad, neutral perspectives. But when it's in the reverse, for me, it's kind of like seeing it through a really narrow lens. But this person doesn't really understand that in order for you to be happy in this connection, in order for me to be happy in the connection with you, you got to put in the work with me. Or you at least got to put in some work. And this person is not putting in anything. Nothing. So, yeah. No, the relationship is over. You no longer have the protection of my umbrella. I'm just going to keep going. And I'm not afraid to lose you because you've made your choice. Right? It is what it is. All right. Let's use the Kipper Lenormand. Like, where are we time-wise? I be trying to mash these readings out between my clients and the dropping off and picking up of people. Try to fit it all in. Alright. Yeah, somebody here is thinking... Okay, remember I said there's somebody here in a toxic that operates in a toxic energy. They're losing their sources of abundance, the happiness, the people. Like I'm not just looking at abundance in monetary form. I'm thinking abundance in all areas. So we know they're having closure issues, and it is necessary for there to be some type of honest dialogue, or at least honest with themselves, okay? Because I also get the impression this is somebody who wears a mask. They're thinking a lot about your evolution and your growth. A lot. Because maybe at one point you were kind of cocooned, and I don't believe, just my opinion, I don't think that they ever actually wanted you to blossom in that way. Because if you had blossomed, because see, part of their biggest fear was you waking up and starting a new life. That's what they're thinking about currently. Because if it's kind of like, well, if you have a new life, this is the weirdest energy. They felt like if you started a new life, that you would just automatically like stop showing up for them. I don't even know how to describe this. It's so weird. I'm like trying to describe what the energy feels like, because it feels like, okay, I'm going to use an example. It's like, say if you, okay, well, hypothetically, we'll say this is a parent, and say your parent is worried about you getting involved in a relationship, or say if you get married, and they're worried that if you get married, that, you know, like, obviously your focus is on your own family and your own, you know, whatever's going on under your own roof. But it's almost like, it's such a selfish kind of, I wish I could describe it in better words, but it feels like it's like really rooted in selfishness, because it's like, if you go off and start this new life, like, you're essentially leaving me behind. And it's not even that, but this person thinks that way. So it's like they were worried that if, you know, they're kind of worried, like, if you go off and have this new life, that you won't be available to give to, I don't even know what the give aspect is, but you won't be available to give to them. This is the weirdest, most selfish, crazy ass energy I've ever felt. This is like the only way that I can describe it. It just feels like an obsessive selfishness, because they were very, very worried about it. If heaven forbid you go off and live your own damn life. Okay. Now I'm getting another energy, and this is very interesting energy too, because I feel like this person, whoever I'm talking about, they're okay. Remember when I said they may have grown up in poverty consciousness. They may have grown up poor. Okay. Whoever this person is, they may have grown up poor. They may have worked very, very hard. But this energy kind of feels like it's like, and I don't know what you do for, like, I don't know what you do for a living. Because I'm trying to figure, because I can see the energies like bouncing off of each other, because they're looking at you and they're comparing their own life to, they're comparing your life to theirs. So like I said, like if this is a parent, like if this is one of your parents and they grew up really fucked up and they grew up poor and they had to, you know, overcome like all kind of crazy adversities, they didn't have no problem watching you overcome a bunch of shit, because they felt like, well, I had to go through it. I don't understand why you know, I don't operate like that. I'm not here to make my children's lives difficult. They didn't ask to be born. So I'm not trying to make it a cush life, but I try to make it comfortable, because they didn't ask to be here. They didn't ask to be here, you know. I brought them here. They didn't ask to be here. But this kind of feels like somebody who, like, they had to, like, oh God, thank you, Spirit. I'm like, where are we going? Okay, so remember when I said there's an element of your life that they feel like it, on the outside looking in, maybe they perceive that your life is easier than theirs, right? This person may have worked really, really hard to not just amass some kind of wealth, but also to like make a name for themselves. And I don't think that they ever really actualized it to its full capacity in their mind. Like, you know, they had a certain, they just didn't get that kind of, you know, they may not have gotten the kind of those accolades that they were looking for. So they definitely feel some kind of way. That is crazy. What I say, they're perpetuating a cycle because they don't want to change. They don't want to learn anything new. They're not trying to evolve. Well, I mean, we've talked about this person. They're not trying to evolve. And there is something here that they may be keeping secret, or they may have kept secret. That's... Now, this is in the reverse, so that means this hidden information. If there's been something hidden that is coming out, and it may require them to make some changes and potentially even relocate or move. Divine timing is at play right now. So it almost comes across like, I don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to happen. Like if they have to move or something like that, child, I don't know when that's going to happen. But it almost seems like it could happen anytime now. Maybe that's the hidden information, that they may have to move. They're maybe trying to hide that. I'm like, ooh, in the environment. I'm like, thief came out. Scales, that's justice. So thief is in the reverse. So that's somebody that, like, the truth about somebody stealing something that was meant for you, derived from a relationship. Ooh, sharks. Ooh, child. I don't know what part of the gift this is. And I say it all the time, like, the cards are just, they're just a tool. But everything I just said about, like, the example that I use, like, if you got married, somebody, oh my God, this is crazy. So, and this is in the environment. So if you got married, or if you got into a relationship, because I won't just seclude it just straight to marriage. So say you get into a relationship. This person never thought that you would, like, so that also means that your partner becomes a little bit of the target too, because how dare you take my daughter, son, my son or daughter away from the family? How dare you take my sister or my brother away from the family? Child, you would much rather be would much rather be with your partner than be with these crazy unhealed people. And I also have energy out here. If you are in a relationship and these people, and could be your family. I mean, I definitely see a family dynamic here. If this ain't family, this could also be family, friends, or friends. You got people here that have been trying to, like, break up your relationship. They see your partner as the ops. They see your partner as the ops in their scenario, whatever that is. This is a crazy reading. But thief and scales out here definitely tells me that this hidden information, I'm telling you, hidden information is about to come out. And this is coming in the near future. But up here's the environment. In the environment, somebody stole something. I also feel like somebody stole something that would have also assisted in making your life a lot easier. There could be somebody here dealing with some bad health. And the pathway to reconciliation between you and, say, your family has been blocked or removed. And I think I've talked about it in one of the last like 3 readings. If there has been some, like, negative karma effect, like poor health or whatever, everybody that's been involved in trying to corrupt or do something against you, towards you and your household, they're all going through it. They're all getting a taste of karmic repercussions. This is the reason why I work so closely with Saturn. If you know your birth chart, and like I said, I'm not an astrologer, I'm an astrology enthusiast and student. But if you know where your Saturn placement is in your birth chart, and you look at not just that placement, but also the ruler of that house and where that is on your chart, I have literally seen direct effects of how people's lives get all fucked up for doing shit to me and I'm just minding my business. I've seen people lose their homes. I've seen people end up homeless. I've seen people, their relationships with other women completely obliterated. I have seen people's resources and sources of income and their self-esteem take a huge plummet. I've also seen people experience very, 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 very costly home repairs. Yeah. That's karma for playing with me. Ooh. Yeah, whoever this thief is also giving me false person energy. This is all coming out. This is coming out in the background. And somebody was given a choice to literally do the work, to change things for themselves or not. And I feel like this person chose to, like I said, they're not doing anything to actually heal or evolve. So, yeah, clouds, there's so much confusion around. There's confusion around somebody's failure, and this very well could be judgment. Somebody getting karma for something that they have done and not done. Somebody here has been trying to affect your, like, somebody here has been trying, and this also includes juju. This feels like somebody here trying to affect your love life, how people view you. Your love life and how people view you. Like, so if people really have love for you, it's almost like them doing things to energetically affect how other people view you. Okay. So somebody here refuses to change. That's part of the block. I said that's part of the block, and it's a feminine energy. This is a woman. This person refuses to change. I said they're resisting it. Like, they're resisting awakening. They're resisting the growth. They don't want to change. This very well could be as a fixed sign. Leo, Taurus, Scorpio, Aquarius. Literally could be a fixed sign. Oh my God. And what they need to release, child, they don't want to. I said they don't want to release the narrative. Like, whatever the narrative is of this relationship, they don't want to let it go, but they don't want to self-reflect either. Right? They don't want, this is kind of like, and I said they're really angry at the fact that, you're showing up really in this balanced energy. You even feel more balanced with the distance between you and this person, since the relationship is kind of fallen by the wayside. I don't know what you're doing, because this card talks about something being done publicly or online. This could even be online. So I don't know if you're discussing the fractured relationship, but there does clearly show that the relationship is done. There is no more relationship, and it's public. So maybe that's why they're mad, because maybe you're talking about it, or other people are starting to question, hey. how come the collective doesn't want to deal with you no more? And then this person's like all, bitter, mad, and angry about it. And you're just like living your life. You ain't thinking about these folks. Like, you know what I'm saying? I hope it's causing people to kind of stop and go, well, damn, like, I just asked you, like, how come, you and the collective aren't talking? And this person goes off like, they go left. Oh, shit. This person do some... Ooh. Part of the lesson here, I said there's something that they need to come clean about. Now, I hadn't considered that. I did talk about somebody removing the emotional component of whatever they're experiencing is, and just look at it from, a logical perspective, so they can understand, like, why you did what you did, right? They really are not trying to operate like that. But if they acquired something, because this talks about being in possession of something, possession, and power, like being in a place of power. If they did something illegally to possess something that they should not, this all is fuck around, find out. Thief in the reverse with scales right here. And the family being blocked off from having any kind of reconciliation from you, especially if I'm telling you, up here there looks like a priestess trying to involve themselves in your relationships or connections to maybe change other people's perception of you by way of juju. And this distorted feminine energy, they refuse to make any changes. They're perfectly good with, and it's crazy because I feels like now just in this line down here, it definitely feels like somebody wanting to affect your relationships outside of them, because you no longer have a relationship with them. So it's like them coming after your other relationships, because I think ideally this person would be okay with you having nobody. They want to be the be all, they want to be the end all be all of your entire existence in life. Alright, I'm going to do this one last section and I gotta go pick up my son. Hey, that's distorted feminine out here one more time. That's disloyalty. Give me one more card. So if this woman, if this is your mother, your sister, your aunt, your mother-in-law, grandmother, whatever, you're going to find out that she's been disloyal to you in her effort to maintain a position of the privileged lady. You're about to get some information. Listen. You're about to get some information, some incoming message or news from an official person about an inheritance. Somebody's been trying to do something. They've been trying to do it repetitively to keep this gift away from you. My cards don't lie. My cards don't lie. Alright, let's do some tea leaves and then I'm going to dip and then I'll come back and do another reading. Flag, do not be tempted to lower your standards. Do not. Stand on business. Dog close up, pleasure with a close friend. Torch, spiritual development, enlightenment, awareness, and understanding. And this person don't want no parts of that torch. Wealth. And they have no idea that if they would just get out of this little matrix ass energy, the wealth that they're looking for, they could absolutely achieve it. But they think that their way is the way. vase, secret admirer. So you may have a secret admirer, fair man, or dealings or relationships with a man with blonde, gray, or white hair. So maybe you may have a secret admirer. Crown, honor, and respect will come to you. Bull, plenty of material things underneath wealth. And yoke, feeling tied down or frustrated. Alright, let's grab some index cards and then we'll go. Alright, we have unfaithful. Travel restrictions, so somebody may not be able to travel. Somebody here in the camp knew the truth the whole time and they were a traitor. A Gemini may be significant. Somebody is working against you, or it could be a Gemini working against you. A real estate investment or investments is relevant. Somebody may be abandoning ship. Stepfather may be relevant. Someone is cyber stalking you. Someone is in a mental prison. Someone's offer is a distraction, so please pay attention. Someone's afraid of getting caught. Someone says you don't deserve it. They're jealous of your life. They think you're, like I said, they think your life. They're looking at your life through, you know, a really narrow lens. They think you have things so much easier than them, and they are pissed off about it. Sacral chakra. So somebody here been trying to affect your sacral chakra. A refusal to change. Someone feels left for dead, or one of you left for dead. Somebody is codependent and needs support. The month of December may be relevant. You could be dealing with a Sagittarius or a Capricorn. There's a positive change in circumstance for you. Someone hates that your intuition is on point. There's someone here with zero authenticity. Month of October may be significant. Could be dealing with a Libra or a Scorpio. There's a power struggle. Could be dealing with a control freak. Siblings may be relevant. Someone says, I don't know how you do it. Someone thinks they're above the law, legal or spiritual. The truth is coming out. Someone is spreading gossip, lies, and rumors. Could possibly be a stepsister, or you could be a stepsister. Then we have an older woman. Somebody does things with an expectation of what they'll get in return. There's dark energy being sent towards you. There's a toxic relationship. You're supported by your tribe. Someone is unreliable, undependable, unemployed, and lazy. And somebody has sex without love, which is gross. And we'll do some dice. This is Jupiter. This is Neptune. So we have Jupiter out here twice and Neptune. We have the fifth house. Fifth house, creativity, recreation, romance, sex, children. Then the fourth house is your home, your roots. Your eighth house, shared resources. It could also be death and transformation, sudden losses, secrets, debts, other people's money, and inheritances. Okay, then we have I think this is Capricorn. This is Gemini, and this is Aries. Okay, so Aries, Gemini, Capricorn, fourth house, fifth house, eighth house. Jupiter's out here twice, and Neptune. All right. I'm going to leave it there. If any parts of this reading resonate for you, gave you clarity or confirmation over your own story, give the video a thumbs up so we can circulate into the algorithm and get in front of the eyes that need to see us the most. If you would like to book a personal more aligned with your own story, all of my information is below in the description box. I invite you to join me for a session. I do have a little bit of time, so I'm going to come back and do another reading before I do my meal prepping and cooking dinner and all that fun stuff. All right, I love you guys. Till next time, take care. See you in the next video. Bye.